Hey there. Alright, so this video is going to be just kind of like a variety video. Gonna make some sounds, tap on some things, maybe scratch on some things. It's not going to be, a lot of times I'll do like a video that's specifically for tapping or scratching or rambling or whatever. This video is just kind of going to be whatever I want it to be. So, if you like something specific, this might not be the video for you, but if you don't know what you're looking for, this could be a good video. And if you just like random triggers, then there you go. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Summer is coming up. It's pretty close. It might already be summer. I don't know when the summer solstice is, which is like the first day of actual summer. But as for like the weather, it's been getting a lot warmer, but it's not quite full summer yet. Obviously, it's still springtime, in my opinion, at least where I am geographically. It can be kind of cold in the morning sometimes, and then it gets pretty warm throughout like the afternoon and stuff. But hey, that's spring. I don't know. I think I've said this before, but I prefer warm weather than hot weather. Or I prefer warm weather over cold weather. Yeah, that's just the way I am. I know a lot of people don't agree with that. But that's just the way I am. It's not so much that I enjoy being hot as much as I just really despise being cold. I get the logic that a lot of people make, which is like, well, it's easier to put layers on than it is to take layers off. And at a certain point, you can't continue to take layers off. But I don't know. I've always been of the opinion that, like, as many layers as you can put on that make you warm, you can't like stay inside a bubble, right? That just keeps you warm. Like there's still gonna be exposure to the cold. And so I don't know. It's just like, I feel like when it comes to being in really hot weather, there's just like a level of acceptance. Like, it's just gonna be hot. I'm gonna be sweaty maybe. Like, that's just the way it is. But when it's in the cold, it's like, there's this illusion that you can like beat it, but you really can't. So you can put on a bunch of, layers and stuff, but like your hands will still be cold. And like if you're like outside in the cold, like the really cold, I mean like 0 or like below 0 Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Although actually, well, I guess 0 Celsius is 32 Fahrenheit, so it's more likely that you would be in sub-0 Celsius temperatures. Either way, I'm talking like really cold, freezing temperatures. It's just like painful, and you can't like do anything. Like your hands are cold, so like they don't move as well. I don't know. I don't like it. That's just me. I just don't like it. Nothing against the people that don't like hot weather, though, or anything like that. I can get it. I mean, just because I like hot weather doesn't mean that there aren't temperatures that, like, aren't unbearable, right? Like, I've been in hot temperatures, and that shit sucks, too. But it's a different kind of suck. It's a more tolerable suck to me, for me personally. But, yeah, I can get why some people wouldn't like it. It's a little grosser, I suppose, because like sweating is gross and stuff like that. But to be fair, I mean, you can sweat in the cold, especially if you have a bunch of layers on. That's like a big way people get like killed in the cold, like super cold, is that they put on a bunch of layers that don't breathe well, and so they start sweating, and then their clothes get wet, and then they suffer from hypothermia. Because when you're wet, obviously, you get colder faster. That's why you sweat in the hot, is to get colder. So when you sweat in the cold, you're doomed. So you can sweat in the cold, but obviously less likely. I was talking about this to someone recently, and I feel like my reasoning for also liking warm weather more, you know, it has more to do with just the weather itself. I mean, if we're talking just weather, right, then like I can't use this as an argument to say that warm weather is better than cold weather, but still, I feel like it should be factored in a little bit, right? Whereas, like, the point I'm trying to make is that in the warm weather, there's more to do. There are specific activities with cold weather, like ice skating and stuff like that, I guess. But I don't know. I just feel like summertime activities are more fun. That being said, I mean, there's still, an atmosphere. There's like a vibe around cold weather that is enjoyable. Like being inside on a cold day when it's warm inside. Like, yeah, I can get down with that. But I would say on the whole, the activities you do in the warm are better than the activities you do in the cold, personally. But that's just me. I don't know. You'll have to let me know if you like warm weather or cold weather. I grew up in an area where we got pretty severe sides of both of the coins, because, like, depending on where you live, you might not get very cold or you might not get very hot. There's that meme that's like, it's like a news article, and it's like, UK residents are panicking during heat wave, and it's like, I forget what the exact temperature is. I want to say it's like 40 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. That's probably not it, because that seems pretty hot, actually. 40 Celsius. 40 Celsius. That's... 100 is 212. 0 is 32. So 40? I think the human temperature is like 31 in Celsius, and that's 98.6. So 40 would be like 100 degrees. So that actually, I don't know. Anyway, I believe the meme is trying to say that people in the UK are not used to very warm temperatures. And so, like, the temperature in the meme is like, it's like 50 degrees, it's too hot, So depending on where you live, obviously you'll get a different mix of weather. But I grew up in a place that gets pretty hot in the summer and pretty cold in the winter. Temperate is what it's called. It didn't snow this year, unfortunately, because that's kind of cool with cold weather. That's like a unique, weather phenomenon. You can only get snow in the winter, at least where I live, obviously. We're entering the blue zone. Welcome to the blue zone. Happens every video. This is what happens when you use daylight as your lighting setup. Very advanced what we've got going on here. Don't worry about it. It's the blue zone. I mean, I should make a bunch of triggers that I only do when the clouds come out. It'll be the blue zone triggers. We got the play button. What was I saying? Snow. Snow is cool. Snow's fun. Snow's fun for like 10 minutes. And then if there's like a lot of snow, then it just sucks. A consequence of living in a place that gets really hot in the summer and really cold in the winter is that the city that I live in is not particularly well suited to dealing with snow. Like the places in like Michigan and shit, like up north, they expect snow every year, so they have infrastructure in place to deal with it because it's a common occurrence. But where I live, it doesn't snow every year. It didn't snow this year. or well, I guess last year. This past winter, it did not snow. So it wouldn't make financial sense to, have a bunch of infrastructure in place like snow plows and other things to really help deal with the snow when it doesn't happen all the time. So when it does snow, we're screwed. If it's a light snow, it's usually not too bad, but if it's a heavy snow, which can happen occasionally, it's a little bit rarer, obviously, but yeah, that can suck pretty bad. When you're a kid, it's great because snow day, you don't have to go to school. Yeah, that's awesome. Which I don't think they do that up north because, like I said, they're more used to it. So I think they still go to school in pretty heavy snow. So they don't get snow days, which is kind of lame. Because that's a big part of growing up is having a snow day. I don't know. To me, that was fun. But they don't get those. But then when you grow up and you need to go somewhere and you can't, then it sucks. But that's life. With global warming, that'll become an issue of the past, though. Obviously, there's no telling whether or not global warming impacted whether or not we had snow this year. But it is coincidental at the very least. I mean, global temperatures have only risen I think 2 or so degrees. But hey, I mean, if it's the difference between 30 and 32, then, that's the difference between snow and not snow, potentially. There's also the issue of I don't know enough about global warming to say that this is what happens, but I would imagine it has an impact. But it could also have an impact on precipitation, because obviously in order for it to snow, it needs to rain, right? But potentially global warming makes the earth drier. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a scientist. I'd be tempted to say that that's actually wrong because, typically you associate winter with being rather dry because everything's really cold and dry. And then in the summer, when it's warmer, it rains more often, like in the spring, April showers bring May flowers. It has been raining a lot recently where I am. So, I don't know. I have no idea. But maybe there's a chance. I think a part of climate change is not only an increase in temperature, global temperatures, but also an increase in the frequency of natural disasters like hurricanes and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's an aspect of it. So, I don't know. I don't know how the world works. I don't know enough of anything. It's quite interesting to think about where we're going to be in 20 to 30 years, Maybe a little scary, maybe it's a bad topic, but I'm not too worried about it, admittedly. But that's probably just because I don't know enough about it to be properly scared about it. I don't know. Like I said also in another video, because I've talked about global warming before. It comes up a lot somehow. Anyway, this could just be me being naive, but I do believe that in the face of truly grave danger that we would be able to figure out a solution. I don't know. Could just be me being optimistic, but pretty smart. We're pretty smart. I mean, not me specifically, but humans as a species are pretty smart. We've made some pretty crazy things, so I feel like we could probably handle this. Now, is it going to be, like an amazing solution? Probably not. It would probably just be better to, like, not have to worry about that later on. But it seems pretty clear that that's not going to be the route we end up taking. So we're going to have to come up with some, like, makeshift last ditch effort solution. But it'll probably work. But it'll probably have, like, really massive repercussions to the environment. What's that called? Bioengineering, I think, maybe. It's where you, like, completely control the climate. I know Kurzgast, I think is how you say it. It's a channel on YouTube that does, like, science stuff. They've talked about it before. I think it's called bioengineering. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's called bioengineering. That's kind of like the whole idea around... if you've ever seen the movie Snowpiercer, which is based on, I believe, a comic by the same name, which is the idea that to fight global warming, we, like, bioengineered, if that's the right term, we bioengineered the climate to be, like, really cold, but then it, like, backfired and got, like, incredibly cold. And so it was like a new ice age that killed everything, and there was, like, a train that was built with, like, the last hope for humanity. And so everyone's on this train that goes around the world, and it's like the last group of humans. It's a good movie. Let's see, what else? Let's do, I haven't done this. I like this sound. I like this trigger. It's a good sound. I like that sound. I don't know if you guys like this sound, but I like this sound. I just recently watched the Planet of the Apes movies, the new ones, with, like, the incredibly good CGI, which is insane. Also, I don't know if it was just me. The CGI on, like, the regular apes was, like, decent. Well, more than decent. It was very good. But the CGI on the orangutan was just insane. I don't know why, but to me, the CGI on that particular character was just, like, 10 times better than the CGI on anything else in those movies. It looked so, like, photoreal. I don't know. They did a good job on that. I mean, they did a good job on the whole thing, but particularly that character I thought was very convincing. They were good movies, though. I liked them. I didn't realize how old the first one was. It came out in 2011, which was kind of, like, mind-boggling to me. I would have only been 11 years old when that first one came out. I mean, they're kind of older movies by this point. I think the last one came out in 2017, so at this point it's like 6-ish years old, maybe. So even the latest one is still a little old at this point, but still, I like remember seeing ads for those movies. And I didn't realize it was that old. Now I'm probably remembering the ads of the latest one, which came out in 2017. But even still, it just seems... It was surprising, to say the least. Also, for 2011, I feel like the CGI was really good for 2011. I don't know. I mean, the first movie, the CGI is not as insane as it is in the one from 2017. But even still, it was pretty fucking good. So, that's impressive. Because 2011, I mean... I don't know. I mean, it's not, like, crazy old. But it's, like... I was surprised. I was surprised. Can I be surprised? Am I allowed to be surprised? Okay, thank you. Itch. My acne's been flaring up again for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's getting a little warmer. It's a little unfortunate. But it is what it is, you know. Sometimes you just got to deal with it. Alright, well, unfortunately my phone has run out of battery, so that's going to have to be the end of the video. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you later.